Hi guys, it's Vinva here. You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's look is a makeup transformation on a melanin skin. If you want to see how this look was created, stick around and keep on watching. As always, you need to work on a clean canvas, and I'm using this micellar water from Nia Beauty Plus to cleanse her skin. Up next, I'm going in with this serum from FBH Cosmetics. Is a hydrating serum, so I'm using it to introduce some hydration to her skin, and I'm applying it all over her face, and I'll dry it afterwards. Next, I'm going in with this moisturizer from FBH Cosmetics and applying it generously all over her face, and after that I'll dry with my fan as well. Next, I'm going in with this primer from Fairy Gold Cosmetics. I'm applying it on her T-zone area. I'm going to make sure that the skin absorbs the product thoroughly, and I make sure that it sinks. Next, I'm going in with this lip balm from Vaseline, and I'm going to be showing the lips some love as well, because you don't want to work on a tack lips, so apply a lip balm. I'm going to be spraying the face with this spray from Kiss Beauty to bring everything together. Next, I'm using this foundation from Jodris Cosmetics and L'Oreal. I'm going to be mixing it together to get the perfect and desired shade I want, and I'm using a kabuki brush to spread it out first, and then I'll be going in with my beauty blender to further smoothen the whole process. This is what we have. Next, I'm going in with this blush from my Sun Moon Beauty powder palette. I'm going in with my brush first, and I'm going to be blending it out with my beauty blender and make sure that everything is synced and well blended. To highlight her face, I'm going to be using concealer from Avo Cosmetics in the shade number 10 and number 60. I'm going to be applying it very lightly because she's a melanin skin and you don't want a lot of products going around. And working on a melanin skin, you have to be intentional with your product selection, the shade, the undertone, and everything, because any mistake can make them look ashy and you don't want that. I'm going in with the concealer. I mix the two shades together and I'm applying it on the center of her forehead, and I'm bringing it down to her nose, and I'm going to be blending it out with the beauty blender to make everything come together. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to contour her nose, and I'm using a foundation a shade darker than her actual complexion to do this. And the brush I'm using is an angle brush from Vicabel Cosmetics. I'm going to be taking my time to carve it out and make sure that everything is nice and well placed. And after that, I'm going to be blending it out with a beauty blender, because like I always mention, you don't want a harsh line. You want a contour without actually being harsh. Next, I'm going in with this Milani powder to set her under eye, but before then I use my beauty blender to smoothen the creasing that occurred when we are blending the rest of the face. I'm using this brush from Nuban Beauty for this process. I'm going to be lightly setting the under eyes. I don't pack a lot of products, and the shade of the Milani I'm using for this process is in the shade Warm. This particular shade went so well with her complexion and her undertone. I'm going to be tapping using a tapping motion, and I don't pack a lot of products at once. I literally build up my products. I don't pick a lot of products at one application. I'm going to be spreading the product out on the center of her forehead as well, bringing it down to her nose and setting her jaws and her cupid bow area. Next, I'm going in with this powder palette from Bicham Ageless Cosmetics, and the shade I'm using in the powder palette is the darkest shade. It went so well with her complexion. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to use product that will complement her melanin. When working on a melanin skin, you need to be intentional and you need to be very careful, because any single mistake can make them look like a ghost. Next, I'm using this bronzing powder from Blot Beauty Cosmetics. I'm using it to add depth to her face. Like I'm literally using it to contour her face basically. So I'm going to be applying it using this brush from Nuban Beauty. And for blush, I'm using the blush palette from Blossom Makeup Shy Girl palette. I'm going to be working my way on her cheeks, applying it lightly and building up the intensity I want. I didn't apply it at a go. Just take your time, make sure that the product is blending beautifully into the skin. Don't pack products at once, build up. That way you have control over your application. Make sure that everything is blended to avoid harsh lines. And yeah, just basically make sure that the skin absorbs your product. Next, I'm going in with this bronzing powder I used to contour her face. I'm using it to, reinforce my nose contour, because the nose needs to be snatched. Everything needs to come together, and I'm using a fluffy blending brush for this process, and I'm making sure that I'm using a circular motion to make sure that I don't have a harsh line in this application, because you can't afford to get a harsh line in your makeup routine. Everything needs to be seamless. I love the results we are getting so far. Next, I'm going to be baking her face, and the setting powder I'm using for this process is setting powders from Blossom Makeup and Blot Beauty Cosmetics. The Blot Beauty Cosmetics is in Invincilucent and the Blossom is in Butter. I mix the both of them together to achieve this shade and consistency. The Invincilucent is like a very silky translucent setting powder, while the Blossom is like a colored setting powder. So I mix the both of them together to get this shade. I'm going to be baking under her eyes, a little bit on her forehead, and I'm going to use it to sharpen her cheekbone, to define her cheekbone. Rather, I think that's the word, to define her cheekbone with my beauty blender. And make sure that everything is coming together and my placement is exactly how I want it. Next, we'll be moving over to the eyeshadow. I did the brows off camera. I have a detailed brow tutorial here on my channel. You can go check it out. It's a very detailed brow tutorial. So for eyeshadow, I'm using my eyeshadow base, which is very important step in eyeshadow application. And the eyeshadow base I'm using is from P. Louise. I make sure that I blend it very well. And the next thing I'm doing is I'm creating a cut crease, and I'm using this soft brown eyeshadow from ZK Cosmetics to like carve out the shape of the cut crease I want to do. A detailed video on this eyeshadow is also up on my channel. Like this, the video is the last video you will see before this one, so you can go check it out as well. So I'm just making sure that this brown eyeshadow is having as my transition. I'll blend it out, and I did the same thing to the other side of the eyes. And the next thing I'm doing right now is I'm using a very dark brown eyeshadow to deepen or add depth to my crease. And the brush I'm using for this application is an eyeliner brush. It helps me for precision and detailing. Eyeliner brush is very perfect if you're creating like a cut crease or maybe an artistic kind of eye look. You need an eyeliner brush for detailing, because it will help you with your placement. It will help you for precision. Yeah. And I'm going to be blending the both of the colors together. And the next thing I'm going to be doing right now is going in with a black eyeshadow to further intensify the crease and the outline. The step is kind of the black is going into the dark brown, and the dark brown is going into the light brown we use as a transition. Next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting her crease, and the base I'm using is the same base I used earlier, the P. Louise in the shade number 4. I'm going to be using this very flat brush to make sure that I'm getting a very, very precise line. When you're doing a cut crease, you have to be precise, and sometimes I find myself holding my breath to make sure that everything is exactly the way I want it. The placement, the precision, the detailing, everything needs to be paid attention to. Another beautiful thing about working with an eyeliner brush for your outline and placement is I'm already seeing the outline of my crease because of the fact that I use an eyeliner brush. So now I'm basically using this concealer to define the outline I made earlier with the eyeliner brush. if I'm making sense. And while at it, I'm making sure that I'm using the brush to blend out the base because you need a very smooth blended base. Next, I'm going in with this orange shade shadow from Blossom Makeup Nude Story eyeshadow palette. This orange blew my mind. It came out so beautiful and pigmented, and I love it. I just love how everything came together. And I'm using this very tiny blending brush to apply this eyeshadow all over her eyelid, making sure that I don't disrupt the outline I made, like the cut crease I made with my eyeshadow base. The next thing I'm going to be doing is smudging out her lower lash line, and I'm using this dark red color from the Zika Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I'm using a very tiny blending brush, more like an eyeliner brush for this application. Next, I'm lining her eyes, her lower lash line using gel liner from Younger Beauty gel liner. I love this gel liner so much. It's very dark and it doesn't smudge. I'm lining her upper lash line, and I'm making sure that everything is, going exactly the way I want it. I'm very particular about my placement. Everything needs to be exactly where I want it to be. I'm using a very tiny angle brush for this application, and I'm going for a very elongated wing. Basically, the length of my wing liner is as long as the cut crease I created, literally. So I want a very catty look, which is why I opted for this dramatic winged liner. I'm going to be winging out the inner corners of the eyes, the tear duct area. I'm going to be making sure that I'm not doing a very dramatic wing on that part of the eyes. It's just something subtle. I did the same thing to the other side of the eyes, and now I'm using a mascara to show love to the lashes. I'm using it on the lower lash line, and I'm also going to be using it to, give the upper lashes some love as well. I'm making sure that I'm getting the lashes very well. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is to fix her lashes. And this lashes is from Chair Lashes. I love this particular one. It came together with this look so well. Like, I wanted something not too dramatic but still giving, and these lashes gave exactly what it's supposed to give to this look. Next thing I'm going to be doing is her lips, and I'm going in with the Bicham Ageless Lip Stain in the shade Cocoa. Is like a sweet dark shade, dark brown shade, and I just love how good it was sitting on my model's skin. It went so well with her complexion. I'm going to be using a flat lip brush for this application, making sure that my lip outline is very precise and well, like the outline is well structured. I'm following her natural lip features. I'm not going against her natural lip features or anything. I'm just literally using this dark brown to, map out her lips exactly the way her lip is. So I'm going to be carving out the lower part of her lip as well using the dark brown lip stain from Bicham Ageless, and I'm making sure that I'm diffusing it as I apply, but not necessarily using it to like cover the whole lips. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm using this shade from the Eye Magic lip palette. I'm going to be spreading it all over on the middle of the lip, carefully not to like cover the brown shade we used earlier. I'm going to be spreading it out using like a very tiny lip brush, a kind of a blending brush, to make sure that my application is coming together. So once I apply it, I'm going to, be blending out be like marrying the dark brown and the shade from iMagic lip palette together, because the way you blend your eyeshadow is the same way you blend your lips. You need to blend it to avoid harsh line as well. Make sure that the two colors are marrying each other beautifully. I'm also going to be blending out the lower lip as well, making sure that the meeting point of the two shade is blended seamlessly. You don't want any harsh line. This lip color is so beautiful for a melanin skin. The next thing I'm going to apply is the cream shade from the same Eye Magic lip palette. I'm going to tell her to smack her lips so that it can blend seamlessly. This lip came out exactly how I wanted it. I wanted something nude but still making a statement. And yeah, the next thing I'm going to be using is to set her face using a setting spray, and the setting spray is from Kiss Beauty. I dried it up with a mini fan, and the next thing I'm doing right now is to add highlighter to her face, and the highlighter I'm using is from Bicham Ageless Cosmetics highlighter, and it went so well with her complexion. Like, I'm very particular about the kind of product, the shade, and everything I use on a melanin skin. Because, like I said earlier, if you make a mistake, it can, you know, make them look ashy. The next thing I'm doing is to add a gloss, and the gloss I'm using is from Blossom Makeup Cosmetics. It's a high shine gloss. It has a little bit of sparkles to it. I love how this gloss applies on the lips. I'm going to be using it to gloss all over her lips, making sure that the lips is luscious. You know, this look gave me so much joy. I love it whenever I slay a melanin skin and slay it to perfection. Everything about this look is giving whatever it's supposed to give. Like, everything is per, yes. So I hope you enjoyed this look as much as I did. If you watched this video to this point, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'll be dropping gems here regularly. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, like, comment, and share to your friends. I will see you in my next video. Until then, bye guys, and thank you for watching.